After literally years of trying to build habits, I feel like I've finally discovered the secret sauce that is the key to building habits that last. Over the past few months, these are a couple of the habits that I've built. I've started working out 3 to 4 times a week. I create daily to-do lists. I drink a ton more water. I meal prep every week. And everyone's favorite habit, I make my bed every single day. And by no means am I claiming I'm a genius. All the ideas I'm going to be telling you in this video are things that I've stolen from other creators, and specifically from one book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you have been in the productivity space at all, ever in your whole life, you've heard of this book, but I'm gonna give you these tips in the terms that I understand them, that made them real for me, and that finally made these changes happen. All right, tip number 1, start so small that you have no excuse not to do it. I think a lot of the reason that we fall off of habits is that they feel like an inconvenience to our day-to-day lives or to our regular schedules. Let's take working out, for example. If you start by trying to go to the gym for an hour, you have to get ready to go to the gym, you need to drive to the gym, spend an hour working out, come home, shower, get ready for the day. That can be like a 2 to 3 hour chunk of time. It's really easy to justify not doing that because you can always be like, oh, I just don't have the time today. Let's compare that reality where you would have to take hours out of your day to go to the gym versus a reality where you challenge yourself to do a 5-minute stretch routine in the morning. In both of these scenarios, you're starting to build a workout habit, but you are so much more likely to stick with the second goal than the first one because it's this digestible, easy to do thing. Everyone can spare 5 minutes, and that's never gonna feel daunting, and you're gonna be a lot less reluctant. This is something that I did personally with building my workout habit. I started with 20-minute workouts because I knew there was a small enough chunk of time where I was not going to make excuses for it. I could fit it in easily in the mornings before work. Over time, I'm slowly building that up. Now I'm doing like half-hour workouts. I think something that people neglect is that they're like, okay, but 5-minute workout isn't gonna make a difference. It's not gonna give me results. The truth of the matter is that results take a long time anyway, and you're a lot more likely to get results if you start small and build up than if you bite off more than you can chew and you quit in the first week. So at the beginning, make it so small that you have no excuse not to do it, whether that's a 5-minute meditation, a 5-minute workout, drinking 1 glass of water after you wake up, practicing 10 minutes of some new skill that you wanna build. There's always a way to make whatever your goal is into this tiny little daily chunk. All right, tip number 2, set future you up for success. In order to reduce friction and make yourself more likely to stick with a habit, it is essential that you make it as easy as possible in the moment to do the habit. So some examples of ways that you could make life easier for your future self. Setting out your workout clothes the night before so you already know what you're wearing. That takes out 1 extra step. Filling up your water bottle the night before if you're trying to drink more water. Creating your to-do lists the night before if you're trying to be more productive and plan your days better. Anything you can do to make your life easier when you're in the moment about to do the habit is going to make you so much more likely to stick with it long term. Tip number 3, this is one of my favorites. Sweeten the deal. Pair your habit with something that you already love. The goal with building productive habits is not to torture yourself as much as physically possible. It's actually to make your life better. And one of the ways that you can make doing your habits more enjoyable is to pair it with things that you know you love. This sort of tricks your brain into thinking it's getting instant gratification from something that's really more of a long-term gain. And the brain loves instant gratification. So the more gratifying you can make a habit in the moment, the more likely you'll want to repeat it. You really just have to romanticize the fuck out of the habit, make it as fun and as special for yourself as you possibly can. And bonus points for if you are doing something that you love that you're not allowed to do at any other time. So for example, if you have a specific podcast you love and you're trying to work out more, only listen to that podcast when you're working out. That's gonna make you wanna work out. It's gonna make you look forward to working out because you immediately associate it with that thing that you don't get to do at any other time. So for me, when I go work out, I listen to the Harry Potter audiobooks, and I don't do that at any other time during my day or my schedule. Another example of this is if you're trying to build a journaling habit, buy yourself a nice notebook, buy yourself a nice set of pens, light candles every time before you journal. Make it into like a whole ritual, a whole experience. All right, tip number 4, try to implement your habits earlier in the day. Because of all these other strategies that I'm suggesting, you shouldn't need a really ridiculous amount of willpower or motivation to stick with the habits. The idea is to make them easy and quick, right? But at the end of the day, trying to build a habit does require a little bit of willpower, a little bit of motivation, and that's where this idea of the willpower tank comes in. This is an analogy that I heard from somewhere, not sure where, but basically it's this idea that every day we have a tank. You know, it's full in the morning, and by the end of the day, it's usually used up. And this tank is basically full of our willpower, our mental energy. Every time you do something that isn't automatic, that isn't already habitual, you're using a little bit of that willpower. So trying to build a new habit is something that is going to deplete that tank a little bit. It's taking extra mental energy, right? Obviously, we are the most fresh in the morning. We haven't been exhausted by the day yet. We haven't had to use any of that willpower. We didn't just have an exhausting day at work that totally drained our tank. So you are a lot more likely to be able to scrape together the motivation to stick with your habit if you're doing it in the morning when you're still feeling motivated, still feeling awake. Then if you try to do it at night after you've already been drained, you've already done a lot of hard, difficult, taxing things. Prioritize these things that you are building for yourself early in the day when you still have your full capacity. So the earlier you can do your habit, the more full your tank is when you try to implement your habit, the more likely you are to have success. You must master a habit before adding another one. Biting off more than you can chew is the ultimate recipe for disaster. Literally make it against the rules for you to try and build a new habit until you have one under your belt. I think people's biggest mistakes is they try to create this entire elaborate 3-hour morning routine that they're like, okay, I'm gonna meditate and work out and cook myself a fancy breakfast every single morning. And they're going straight to that with absolutely zero proof that they've been able to build habits in the past. Since a lot of habit building is mental, confidence is everything. And if you have a history of building and sticking to habits, then you're gonna actually believe that you can implement new ones and you're a lot more likely to be successful. So start with one, master that habit, have it be so automatic, such a part of your regular routine, and then you can slowly build on that. And eventually these habits are gonna compound, you're gonna see an entire new reality, and you're gonna really be able to transform your life. But the key is to do it one tiny step at a time. So that is all of the insights that I have found on habits that have allowed me to actually start making massive changes in my reality. If you're a New Year's resolution person, or if you just want to take your life into your own hands, I hope that these tips can be helpful for you when you're trying to change your life this year. If you like this type of content, I have an entire playlist on self-development on my channel. I also have a video talking about why you never finish what you start. That video basically dives into the reasons that a lot of us don't stick with our goals. I'll have that linked if you guys are interested. I hope you have the most beautiful day, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.